Well, there were three of us that doubled Harrison Ford. Martin Grace doubled him in the Temple, and Vic Armstrong doubled him a couple other places. But I was originally going to be the stunt coordinator on Raiders of the Lost Ark. And John Milius was going to do a movie called Conan the Barbarian. And I've done every picture that Milius has done. So I talked to Steven and I said, John's going to go with Conan the Barbarian. I think it's going to be at the same time that Raiders is going to go. And he said, well, if you have to go with John, okay. But I did suggest the sequence of dragging under the truck and transferring from a horse to the truck, which is similar to Legends of the Lone Ranger, which I replicated that stunt that Yakima Canutt did back in 1938. Well, anyway, I'd done all the pictures that John Milius had done as a director, so Steven understood. But when I was going to be the stunt coordinator on Raiders of the Lost Ark, I suggested to him, and we talked about going under the truck and all that stuff to transfer to the truck, like Yakima had done back in 1938. Well, interestingly enough, John Milius gets ready to go to Yugoslavia to make Conan the Barbarian. I called Steven. I said, I can't do it. I got to go with John. He said, I understand. Who can you recommend? I said, I recommend Glenn Randall, a dear friend of mine. They hired Glenn to be the stunt coordinator, and I'm going to go to Yugoslavia. Well, Tito dies. He's a dictator of Yugoslavia. They had him plugged into the wall. I say it. They had him on a respirator and everything. He dies. Now there's 3,000 Russian troops on the Yugoslavian border, and Dino De Laurentiis says, you guys aren't going to make that movie in Yugoslavia, so now the Conan the Barbarian gets shut down. I'm out of work. I'd given away Raiders. I'm going to do Conan the Barbarian in Yugoslavia, and they shut the movie down. So in the meantime, Jerry Gatlin, who was the stunt coordinator on Legend of the Lone Ranger, he called and he says, hey, you want to do that Yakima Canutt stunt, going from your horse to the leaders and down under the six horses pulling the coach and out the back. Copy that Yakima Canutt stunt. I said, are you kidding me? Absolutely. So we go to Monument Valley and I do the stunt and get run over by the coach. So they flew me out of Monument Valley in a Twin Beach aircraft and come into LAX to see Doc Kerlin, who'd put me together a couple times before that, and was in the hospital for a few days and got out on crutches. And I'm hobbling around and I get a call from Glenn Randall. And he says, hey, you want to come over to North Africa and double Harrison on the stunt that you suggested when you were with Steven when you were going to do Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I got to go to North Africa. Wasn't on crutches, I got off on, but I still was limping pretty good. But I did the stunt for Harrison with the truck. And the rest is history.